Blackoutpod with Pete Duval. Binges, blackouts, tales from rock bottom. I have a wonderful guest here with me today. He was on the Just for Laughs New Faces this year. He's the producer of Fast and the Furious Musical Parody. Wonderful stand-up, beautiful, handsome young man, Mr. Brad Silnutzer.
I wish you would have led with my looks, you know?
I'm sorry. I thought it would be like the cherry on top. It was one of those things where I was like, maybe I'll flatter him a little bit.
No, it's nice. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. I'll do whatever you want in this podcast now. You
Perfect.
told me a beautiful, handsome young man.
It's true, dude. You can fucking...
The young is the part that excited me the most.
You are young.
I know, but I'm losing my hair.
It's, by the way, it's your fucking birthday
It is
today.
my birthday today,
And you came and spent 2 hours with me.
I know. It was a mistake.
Yeah,
was a big
absolutely.
mistake.
No, I'm a big disappointment.
No, I'm just like, it's like why live my birthday like it's a different day and not have something that I deeply regret.
Sure. And then this is that thing. Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool that this podcast is on. Also, we're going in a pattern where it's been Jew, Gentile, Jew, Gentile.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was Blaustein, and then it was Johnny Mitchell, and now it's you, and then it's going to be Jay Light, and then it's going to be Nicole Amy Schreiber.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what a lineup, you know?
It is a big lineup.
That's a lineup of big personalities, a lot of degenerates.
A lot of
Some
them.
prison time in there.
Yep. He didn't talk about it. He talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But we talked more about whores, which I feel like he's also well-versed in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
he knew a lot.
I believe he used the phrase, brutally fucked her face.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I don't like that.
Yeah, it was...
That hurt. That hurt
was-
my soul. I'm
was-
too nice of a boy. One time in Atlantic City, New Jersey, I have 2 prostitute stories in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Well, actually 3. One time in Atlantic City, I bought a prostitute. And then I returned her. I did not want to do it. I couldn't go through with it. But it's like weird returning a prostitute because you have to return her to herself. You have to be like, I don't want it anymore.
How much was she charging?
It was like $150. Yeah.
Okay.
But I was a younger man. I was 19 years old. I was there with my buddies. We met these girls. They ended up being prostitutes. Yeah, and I just couldn't. I was too much of a nice little boy.
Sure.
I was like, I can't do this. I was
a
like,
big old broad, or was she good looking?
she was cute. We had a good time.
Okay.
We had a nice time. She kept the money. I tried to return her. Okay, here's another quick one. Also Atlantic City. There's a very particular type of sadness in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, it's a very
It's a lot like
particular.
Vegas, right?
Yeah, but it's like there's winter in New Jersey, and so one time there was a snowstorm, and I was going in my car, and there's this lady outside, and I opened my car door, and she was like, "Hey, which way are you going?" I was like, "Oh, that way. Do you need a ride? Like, you should get out of here." And she gets in the car, and I was like, "Cool, where do you need to go?" And she's like, "Wherever you're going." And I realized I had picked up a prostitute.
Ooh.
Yeah, but they're not wearing their uniforms in the winter. They're just wearing a parka like everybody else. And I couldn't get her out. The only way I got her out of the car was by going through the Wendy's drive-thru, and I got her a double stack.
Oh, but that's charitable.
Which also sounds like a thing you would do with a prostitute. But yeah, so I got her a double stack, and then she left me. And then there was another time where I went into a cab driver said, "You guys want to have a good time?" We're like, "Yeah." And he took us to we didn't realize it was a brothel until we were inside, but they had already separated my buddy and I. And so I needed...
Where was this?
This was in Atlantic City.
God damn, dude.
They took us to a place that looked like an abandoned warehouse.
Okay.
Right? And this dude knocked on the door, and then a panel moved. This was like a movie. A panel moved and a camera was behind the panel.
Oh,
turned on.
shit.
He didn't tell us. I guess he got a commission. This dude was working on.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
a cab
like those
driver.
dudes in Vegas who take you to strip clubs.
But it wasn't a strip club. It was a seedy-ass brothel. So the door opens up, and it's a madam, and she takes my buddy Jason and I, and because basically the way this started was the cab driver's like, "Do you guys like adventures?" And my buddy Jason's like, "I love adventures." And
That's a bad way to start.
so they separate us immediately, and we didn't realize it was a brothel till we were inside, and so they put me in a room, and I need to escape immediately. I'm like, I'm not going through this, and I need to find my buddy Jason. So I'm walking through this brothel, opening all of the doors, looking for my buddy Jason, and I saw some bad stuff.
Yeah, that sounds like a video game
Yeah.
or something. Jesus Christ. Doesn't that sound like a scene from Hitman?
Yeah.
Where you're just opening
Yeah.
doors
Yeah,
or they're fucking hostile and you're just ah.
It was all dark and shadowy, so it felt like those old commercials, the old iPod commercials. They were all just fucking. And then my buddy, I found my buddy Jason finally, and he was sitting on his little bed, with his arms around it. I'll never forget this. His arms were around his knees, and I opened the door, and I was like, Jason. He looked up at me, and he goes, I don't like adventures anymore.
That's real?
That's a real story.
What did he do?
We ran out. We just ran out.
How old were you?
That was probably like 25, yeah.
Dude, to have an experience where you're fucking like your little kid run out terrifying at 25 years old, it must have been pretty shocking.
It was really special.
Jeez. Dude, I've had some horrible Vegas stories. I can't even imagine if I grew up on the East Coast and had access to Atlantic City.
We were so close. I grew up like 40 minutes from there.
Yeah, because I was like 5 hours from Vegas.
Yeah.
And so like that's where you went if things were sad.
Yeah.
And I have had some sad Vegas stories.
Me too, man. I got in trouble. I almost got arrested in Vegas because I went swimming in the MGM Lion Fountain. I like ran up between the lion's legs and jumped into the fountain. And I got in a lot. It was bad.
You almost got arrested?
I ran away, yeah. I was running down the Las Vegas Strip holding my wet clothes, and I ended up hiding in the New York bathroom, like by standing on the toilet.
Dude, what the fuck? That's crazy. And they didn't like rat you out?
No.
I feel like their cameras are so on point.
I know, but I think it was another hotel security that was chasing me into New York.
Oh, okay. Dude, I got booted and banned from a hotel chain there.
Really?
Yeah.
From the whole chain?
From the whole chain.
Wow.
And like,
that's like not being allowed back into a Denny's.
Yeah. Dude, it was so wild.
What chain was it?
It was Harrah's.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was when Imperial Palace was a thing.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever knew about that one.
No, but it sounds like a buffet. It sounds like a Chinese buffet.
They probably had one.
Yeah.
But it was like it was like a budget place, but it was in the middle of the strip, so it was fine. Like Flamingo kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Flamingo's classy now, and Imperial Palace was not. So I had broken up with a girl, and we went. I think I talked about this on like my third podcast, and I went with this dude who was a huge piece of shit, just a huge piece of shit to this day.
You got to keep some pieces of shit friends around.
Sure. I mean, I don't know him anymore, but
somebody that I used to know, somebody.
I God bless him for fucking,
Dude, being from New Jersey, I have so many friends like that. That song to me is more about my piece of shit friends who I left behind than people I've broken up with.
This dude, every time he would get drunk, he would black out. And one time he puked green, like for no reason. Like it was just green vomit.
That
on
is
the floor.
So gross.
And he would fucking dead weight every time he passed out, and he was like 6'5" and huge. But we went to Imperial Palace, and it was like a Tuesday in fucking March. So no, like November. So it was just not peak anything time.
Yeah.
And I lost my ID after the first night. We got bottle service at this horrible club for like $100. And they brought us like Stoli vodka, and like we're trying to attract women, and it was like just nobody who wanted to hang out with us. So I end up going back to the hotel the last night. I'd lost my ID, still gotten hammered, and I go back to the hotel and I just pass out.
Wow.
And then I wake up to him shaking me awake, and I'm like, what's going on? And he had kicked the door open, a metal door, and dented it. But didn't get in through the door because he didn't have a key. And then he found where our window was on the side of the building and scaled the side of the building.
This isn't real. What do you mean scaled the side of the building? He had like 2 plungers and he's going up.
It was like 2 floors up.
Okay.
It was like 2 floors up, and he like Spider-Mans up the thing and gets in. And then I wake up to security telling us we need to leave.
Yeah.
And so they ban us from the hotel, and then they're like, when you get in your car, we're going to call Las Vegas PD. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting my fucking car then. And so we were walking around at like 5 a.m. with the sun coming up, trying to find a place to sleep. And so we went into like Venetian and went into like one of the family bathrooms and tried to sleep. Instantly knocked on the door, like, you need to get out of there.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was like, that's what it fucking, yeah. So then we ended up sleeping in a car. I pinched a nerve in my arm, and I wasn't able to lift weights for 3 months.
Somebody that I used to know.
It was fantastic. It was a fantastic time. It's a fantastic time. My dad had to talk these people out of not taking me to jail.
Whoa.
I was like 21. I was 21, yeah. And so I called him. And I was like,
that's not a fun phone call to make.
Nope. I was like, they're threatening to sue me. And he talked him down. And he's like, I'll pay for the door. And so I had to pay for the door. And it was like, I think it was only like $400.
Wow, it was just made out of aluminum foil.
I guess so. Yeah, but it was like a metal door. And
Yeah.
this dude had just drop kicked it to the point where it was completely dented.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's my fucking Vegas story.
Damn.
Now put that in Atlantic City, I guess.
Yeah, if you put it in Atlantic City, there's a lot of...
I would have been dead, dude.
If you lived near Atlantic City?
Probably.
Yeah.
If I grew up on the East Coast, like in a place with more...
You're lucky you
crazy
grew up
shit
in
to do.
Utah.
Yeah, if I grew up with more crazy shit to do, I think for sure I'd be dead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There wasn't much to do other than drink until 1 or 2 in the morning.
Damn, well, then I wouldn't be doing this podcast on my birthday, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's, yeah. But you were telling me stuff in the lobby of this wonderful building of Third Wheel Productions that you had a couple of stories that you wanted to rehash.
Gosh, I have a lot of stories. I mean, I just told you 6 stories already.
Mm-hmm.
They're more vignettes, you know?
Mm-hmm. I want to compliment you on your if anybody wants to follow a good comic, Brad Lives Dreams is his handle. He's a wonderful comic, on stage, very impressive performer. One of my favorites to watch. Him and Blaustein, who I had on too. I don't mean to.
You're just like East Coast Jews.
Yeah, I guess so.
You just like Jews with some edge, baby.
Yeah, that's my stepdad too. My stepdad's a Jewish guy.
God, it's a dad thing.
It is,
you like
yeah.
my comedy because of a complex you have.
Yeah, that's what I aspire to be as a Jew from the East Coast.
Oh, we can make that happen.
Okay,
You
cool.
just have to marry me.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, we'll make you one.
Okay, cool.
You can
Yeah.
be a Jew. We'll take anyone.
Cool.
You just
Okay.
have to do some things. You just have to read some books.
Yeah, my mom did that.
She became a Jew?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So by association, I guess.
Yeah, you're kind of a Jew.
Kind of like a convert, Gentile,
Yeah.
something. Anyway. Please,
Stories.
Yeah, please talk about getting beat. I don't know. You had some stuff that was fun.
Okay, here's a fun one. Wait, so generally people do blackout stories on this?
It doesn't really matter. It's kind of like it's turned into something that, like, as long as it's crazy, it's,
Yeah. This is a pretty fun one.
Okay.
Okay, so let me take you back to the year recent. Maybe 20
Year last night.
Let me take you back to 2015. Yeah. No, I
wish I had a
so
harp sound
so I had
effect.
Okay, so I had met this girl in San Diego doing stand-up comedy. And that night we had some real chemistry, a real feeling. We smooched for a second. It was like a mwah, mwah, mwah. And it was great. And her friend was there, so there was nothing. It did not go anything beyond that. But I had taken her number down. She's like, the next time you come down here and do comedy, hit me up. So about a month later, I was back in San Diego doing comedy, and I text her, and she does not text me back, and I'm very bummed. And so I'm sitting there at the bar, at the comedy club, drinking.
Which club?
It was the Old Man House Comedy Club.
Love Man
And I get a text from her, and she's like, hey, sorry, my friends and I are going crazy tonight. Come meet me out. And she gives me the name of the bar in PB, which is a very crazy place. PB is where frat boys never have to retire from being a frat boy. It is party all day and all night. So I go to PB, I meet them at this bar, and I walk in, and she's like, hey, just to let you know, we are all on LSD right now.
Oh, fuck.
And I was like, this sounds great. I need to catch up and do something. So I just go to the bar, get a bunch of drinks, start getting crazy. I don't know if you know this, but I am a fantastic dancer. I'm dancing on the bar. The girls all come up to me. They take off my shirt. I then get kicked out of the bar for dancing without my shirt, but not before a lot of people do body shots off me, which is great. It was so we get kicked out of the bar, and she's like, hey, let's go to the water. And so she and I like scurry off to the beach, clothes come off, go in the water, fooling around the water. It's a goddamn dream.
Naked in the ocean.
Nude in the ocean.
Wow.
Nude in the ocean, just surrounded by sea life.
Dude. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And two starfish together.
Yeah.
And one clam and an eel.
So anyway, we're in the ocean, and we eventually get out of the ocean. When we get out of the ocean, we can't find our clothes.
Oh fuck.
So now here we are in the middle of the PB beach at like 2 a.m. We can't, and we're scurrying around looking for our clothing, and we can't find it. She's having a full-on panic attack, and I'm like, baby, it's gonna be okay. And she's like, is it gonna be okay? Because we're just gonna be out here naked. And I was like, you stay right here. I'm gonna find our clothes. So here was my plan, and I don't think it was a good plan. But there's a lot of hotels along the beach.
Yeah.
I started running up to the hotels and being like, if I knock on the door, maybe one of the nice security men will give me a robe. And so I remember I knocked on the first one, and there's a dude. He's like sitting in a chair, and I knock on the door because all the doors to the beachside are locked at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So people like naked, and so he turns around. He's reading a newspaper, and he puts the newspaper down to look at me, and just shakes his head no, and lifts the newspaper back up. So I was like, okay, hotel 1's a bust. Go to hotel number 2. Knock on the door. Like a bellhop looking guy comes back down, and I was like giving him the please, and he just sees me. I'm butt naked. He sees my full dick, my full little ocean shriveled. It's small at this point because of the ocean and its actual size. It's smaller.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a little boy, and so I'm just like this micro penis man, like knocking frantically, being like, please, snot on my face, look like an insane person. Knock on the door, and I just be like, robe, give me a robe, a towel, and he just goes. He's like a boy, and he's like, no, and he just runs away. So security guard after security guard rejecting me, right? And so now at this point, I'm just like running along the beach. I see a couple who was like on a blanket having a lovely moonlight picnic, and I walk right up to them. I was like, do you guys have an extra towel? And she screams, and he goes, lose your clothes on the beach, man.
He knew.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm surprised not one security guard was a homie.
yeah, no one was a homie. I mean, I looked pretty insane. I thought one of them would help me out. None of them would.
You don't look at, like, I don't know what you look like that fucked up.
Yeah.
But how long ago was this?
This was a few years ago. I mean, I looked like a regular dude who just happened to be naked.
Like a young man.
But like,
who was
imagine you're at your
experiencing-
job, and your only hope for your boring ass job is that nothing happens.
Yeah.
And then you see someone like poof, 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 knocking on the door, a naked dude in the middle
Just
of the
an
night
alabaster
begging.
gentleman.
Yeah. I look like a ghost. I'm so pale.
Yeah, but that makes you not intimidating.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like you're not an intimidating looking guy. I'd be like,
That
he
is
needs-
hurtful.
He needs some help.
That's hurtful.
You're
I'm very,
very
intimidating.
intimidating. You're very
You haven't seen my little shriveled dick.
You've got a large chest.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you fucking.
I'm a chesty boy.
You look stacked.
I'm a chesty boy.
So-
And my nipples were so hard because it was cold out.
Oh yeah. So the weather was cold too.
It was, I don't know, but I was very wet
Okay.
and not out of anticipation. It was
I'm
wet
surprised you didn't get arrested.
out of, yeah, I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
Could have happened. Eventually, she is at this point crying hysterically. I eventually am a hero and realize that the current has taken us down. I'm like, oh, our clothes are probably just over there. Find our clothes. Is the night over? No. So we were like still a little drunk and on LSD or whatever she's on.
I'm assuming like 4 a.m. now.
At this point, it's like 3:34 in the morning, yeah. And we go, and there's a pickup truck that I see, and we literally just like climbed in the pickup truck and start making out. And I'm like, this is pretty fun. Within a second, like probably like within like a minute or two, at this point, like I'm like half naked again. We hear somebody walk by and goes, "Is that someone hooking up in my pickup truck?" So we jump out of the pickup truck. At this point, she's like, "Why don't you just come back to my friend's place where they're having a party?" I'm like,
Stand
"It's
in
like,
like a yurt?
4:30 a.m."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What do you mean your friends are having a party?" So I go to this party. There are a lot of drugs everywhere, and I'm not like, I've tried drugs. I'm not like I was never like a drug guy. I was like I wanted to try everything once. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Okay.
What
What am I back in Jersey?
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, Bradley.
I'm
Continue.
canceling you. It's now Blackoutpod with Brad
It's
Silnutzer.
blacks out. Pod.
Yeah, Blacks Out Pod. So there's a pile of cocaine on the table, like the biggest pile of drugs I've ever seen. And I was like, you know what? Everyone was like very rugged up. I was like, I haven't, I had tried it. I hadn't done them. I was like, I'll do a little bit and put it on my gums, just make my face numb a little bit. So I do that, and the second I put like that little bit in my mouth, just like someone walks by and was like, "Man, you just did a lot of Molly." They had a pile of Molly in their house.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then I died. That was the end of the story. No, I just went up on the roof. Watched the sunrise, and fell asleep on the roof, and woke up to people in the neighborhood being like, "Is that guy dead on that roof?" Anyway, it's like a little bit. It's like, the arc of the story isn't great, but there's a lot of fun little pockets.
No, that's a good story.
A lot of fun little pockets.
So was that your first time doing Molly?
Yes.
How did?
It was great, but
you
terrifying
remember?
when you don't know what you're
For
about
sure.
to do.
Yeah, I've done a lot of Molly.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, you feel a lot of feelings, right? It's like you want to do if you're gonna do drugs, you want to have like some semblance of control.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't want to not like. I thought I was doing the equivalent of taking a bunch of Advil by doing like literally what would have amounted to a very small amount of another drug, but it's a large amount of that drug. God
damn. Yeah, especially orally. That's like a lot of people think that you're supposed to snort it.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of it. Orally, you definitely absorb it.
And it immediately. It just starts happening immediately.
Yeah, especially if it's powder. Yeah. Dude, that's so fucking funny. Yeah, have you rolled since?
Well, one time.
Yeah. Did you ever roll too hard?
Yeah, the one time I rolled too hard. It was insane.
It's so bad. It's just like there's something about it. I used to like the idea because one of the ways you can die from MDMA is your brain overloads with serotonin.
Yeah.
And so like I think serotonin? Yeah. And
that's what it does. It
dopamine.
Releases all the serotonin. Yeah.
And so it literally you die from being too just like feeling everything.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like was going to happen the one time that I did it. I was like, it was originally developed as a marriage counseling tool. Or at least that's how they were using it initially. Wow. So they would use it in therapy as a way to get couples to open up to one another. And let me tell you, I could see how that would be the thing.
Sure. Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's nothing more sinking than being on too much of a drug.
Yeah, it's weird because it didn't felt like it had any. I'm actually glad I did too much of it that one time because I would have probably done it. I know people who've gotten too into Molly.
Yeah.
And do it way too often as a party drug, and smart people and people who are like have great jobs. Because I don't know about its long-term degenerative, like what it does to the brain long-term. I don't think it has the same type of.
It really fucked me up.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, dude. Like
How
I used to be able to memorize a lot of things very quickly, and I can now a little bit more. This is going to sound so woo-woo and stupid. I take like mushroom supplements and stuff. And slowly but surely my memory is getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I used to be able to listen to a song and I would know the lyrics after like the fourth time listening to the song.
Yeah. And you think that's just from doing too much Molly?
I think so. I mean, like too much Molly and then too many drugs. I mean, like, but Molly is the one that I did the most.
Yeah.
But it was also, I was taking pills. So like pressed pills, like pressed ecstasy pills, which could have been fucking anything.
Yeah.
So, and I would roll every weekend for probably about a year plus.
That's so much.
Yeah.
See, the thing for me is I always liked it and I've never had an addictive personality. And so I was very lucky to be able to like try drug. I also worked with kids for so long and did no substances while I did that.
Yeah.
Like I would drink occasionally, but I was very much like, I'm working with kids, I'm doing good stuff, I'm going to stay pure. And I was also like teaching about that stuff. So when I was done it and I started doing comedy, I was like, okay, it's time for me to experience all this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to go about it, especially if you're later on in your more adult years. Like when did you start doing that stuff?
That was like, I was like 20. I probably did it from like 24 to 26 was my real experimental.
Oh, okay.
period. I'm also crazy enough without it. Like most of my, like when I tell these stories, people think that I'm like so fucked up. It's like that story I just told you was just alcohol.
Yeah.
The time I was arrested in Tijuana and like escorted out of the country I was sober. It's like I'm just like a high energy like people think I'm on cocaine all the time. And I am. Bye.
Yeah.
And I
am. He did it before the podcast. Just in front of us.
Yeah.
It was almost offensive, but I was impressed because I hadn't ever seen that much brash behavior. I had to respect it. Please tell me about the time you got arrested in Tijuana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
this was sober.
This was sober because we had just gotten there.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
So my friends were going to Tijuana and they were begging me. It was like right before final sophomore year of college.
If this is a child trafficking story,
and they were
I don't know if I can.
They were like, we need to get these hot teens back to America. Didn't you know my real name's Bradley Epstein from the Epstein family? You've heard me talk about this. I haven't brought it to shows yet, but I was so bummed how Jewish his name was. I'm like,
I have heard you talk about that.
People hate Jews so much. We don't need a sex trafficker.
It's not their MO.
Jews? I mean, but that's what people who hate Jews think we're doing.
I mean, I guess
people think that we're doing all of the bad stuff.
I guess Woody.
He trafficked one.
He didn't really like there was no trafficking. He just was very creepy. It's just a very creepy thing. But like, it's not enough to make me go, Jews are fucking. All they're doing is trafficking these kids.
We have the banks. We have Hollywood.
Yeah,
we don't need trafficking.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. No, not at all.
So anyway, I was going there. No, we were just going there to have a night out. And I almost burped. Sorry, I just puked everywhere.
Oh, that's all right. You're allowed to burp.
So we were going, and I told my friends, I'm like, wake me up in San Diego, and we'll take a cab over. And they wake me up, and they're like,
good old days.
Yeah, they wake me up, and they're like, we're in Mexico. And I was like, guys, you're not supposed to drive in. We could get like pulled over any sec. And literally, as I said that, we got pulled over.
Fuck.
The cops come, and they pull us all out of the car. It's me, Emily, Sarah, and David. I remember they pulled out me, Emily, and David, and Sarah was just in the back making a friendship bracelet.
Oh my God.
I just remember she was just like there, like fucking weaving, and she's making a friendship bracelet. And then the cop was androgynous, the most androgynous person I've ever seen in my entire life. So they rolled down the window, and
wow.
Emily was trying to take the lead, and Emily goes, "Excuse me, sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am." And the cop, and that like pissed the cop off, but she like truly didn't know, and we didn't have the language for this stuff back then.
Sure.
And then so this person, the cop, who I still don't know, man or woman, this pulls us out of the car, right, and starts to search all of us, and then they start to search all of us. The cop spends so much time patting down my butt that it starts to feel good.
Oh, shit.
And this is before I had ever been spanked proper before, you know what I'm saying? So this cop is like feeling up my butt, and I start to laugh because they're spending like a lot, like just patting my butt over and over again. I don't know what they were looking for. I did have a good ass, but
yeah.
Anyway, I start to laugh. The cop then picks me up by my belt, like grabs my belt and picks me up and slams me into the car to the point where I bruise my ribs.
Holy fuck.
And then cuffs me. And then they cuff my friend David,
Mexican
too.
cop, American cop?
Mexican cop.
Okay.
This is in Tijuana.
All right.
And
You're fucked then, huh?
yeah, we were so fucked. And the good news is that I had, for a situation like this, I had put a bunch of cash in my shoe. So the cop searched us all basically to count all of our money, and was like, brought me and my buddy in handcuffs over to the car. And then eventually they let me go. And I was like, hey, I need my friend. They're like, he's going to jail. And I'm like, why? And they were like, well, we pulled you over because you weren't wearing seatbelts. We were wearing seatbelts. And also he has a knife on him. And they pull out the most rinky-dink little Swiss Army knife with fucking like nail clippers
that are all used.
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
toothpicks all
It's like
used
you could
on
not,
and shit.
if you could not murder somebody with this. The knife on it isn't long enough to reach any internal organs. You could get a little shanky shank, but it wouldn't kill anyone. Anyway, so they put him in the car, and I was like, they're like, we're taking him to jail. And I was like, come on, let's like make a deal here. And they're like, we got to call the chief about any deals. And then they put him in the car, and they just drive away. And I was like, oh my God. So I follow the car, and I was like, they can't take my friend.
So now you're just on a road in Tijuana,
Now I'm just
Mexico.
on a road in Tijuana, Mexico, driving my buddy's car, watching him like get taken away by the cops.
This is nightmare shit.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, he's going to die in prison. He's just a little nice Jewish boy, skinny as can be.
David, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and they so anyway, they pull him. The car gets pulled over. Their car pulls over. I mean, and I pull over too. And the cop gets out and he's like, "Why are you following me?" And I was like, "I'm following you to get my friend back." And I was like, "I will give you money." And he was like, "You don't have enough money for this." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And I take off my shoe, and as I take off my shoe, he goes to grab for his gun because I think he thinks I'm going to Austin Powers throw a shoe. Who throws a shoe? I take off my shoe, and he's like, he's like getting into fighting position, thinking I'm about to shoe attack him. Can you imagine if I got killed because I was trying to take money out of my shoe? It's like Depression era.
All this time David is in the car. He's like, oh, God.
Yeah, and so I show the cop the money. They're like, how much is it? And I was like, about $150. I think it was like $136. And they were like, interesting. Meet us in the alley, 3 alleys down. I accidentally went 2 alleys down, and I was like, they're not coming. I was like, they tricked me. They're not coming to the alley. I was like, I think this was 2 alleys down. I went another alley down. The cops are there. They have David cuffed. They're holding him. It's like a fucking hostage movie. They're holding him. I go up. I shake the cop's hand. He takes the money. They uncuff David. They throw David back, and they say, get out of Mexico. And they escorted us back to the border. And we just had to drive back over the border. Here's the crazy thing. We stopped at a beach. We're like, we'll make something of this night. We stop at a beach in San Diego.
Yeah.
Right? And we're like, we're going to watch the sunrise.
Were you in Coronado?
I don't know exactly where we were, but we hear like a, and we hear it. We're like, oh, there's some sort of drum circle happening at 3 a.m. here in San Diego. So we go and we find a drum circle, and we get over to the drum circle, and they were like, hey, welcome to the Rainbow Tribe. And we're like, what? And they're like, welcome to the Rainbow Tribe. We're just a bunch of vagrants and vagabonds who travel around. It was like a hippie circle, and they're all wearing tie-dye. They look like, you can't tell if they're homeless or it's a choice or whatever is going on. And so they're all just dancing over this fire. They're jumping up and down. They're like, Emily. Emily was wearing this headband, and they're like, she seemed like very hippie to them. And they were like, do you want to get initiated into the Rainbow Tribe? She's like, I'd love to get initiated into the Rainbow Tribe.
You're sober.
Yeah, we're all sober.
God damn.
And so she's getting initiated into the Rainbow Tribe, like jumping over fire and doing like chants and stuff, like like really like guttural, like chants. And so the Rainbow Tribe's doing that. And while that's happening, David, Sarah, and I go to put our feet in the water. We put our feet in the water and we turn around. And you ever close your eyes? And then you realize like a light's been turned on?
Yeah.
That happened, and I opened my eyes, and I realized that the Rainbow Tribe was surrounded by cops. All the cops rolled up to the Rainbow Tribe on the beach. And I was like, oh, my God. And because we had just been, my friends will never let me live this down. I meant to yell police, but because we had just been in Tijuana, I yelled, Policia, Policia. And, yeah, the cops came. They all had their billy clubs out, and they just started beating down the Rainbow Tribe.
Holy fuck.
And like putting them into the cars and
this
stuff.
This is a real thing.
This is a real thing.
Oh
and this
God.
woman, I'll never forget this. I don't know the story behind this, but this one woman was running from one cop, and she was like, stop it, Jerry. Stop it, Jerry. You used to be one of us. So I think Jerry cleaned up his act and became a cop. He left the Rainbow Tribe to become part of the force.
Jesus Christ. You're not running bits? This sounds so fucking...
Isn't that crazy? Doesn't that sound fake?
Yeah.
And so then my friends drove me back to campus. We drove back to L.A.
You were at USC.
I was at USC, and they dropped me straight at my final, and I took my final.
God, that sounds like a road trip movie.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was a really wild night. The Rainbow Tribe thing, it was like a 2-cop night in 2 different countries.
Yeah.
And we made it out with like a pretty good story, but like nothing really bad had happened. The worst part of the story was watching the cops brutalize these people and being able to do nothing.
Yeah. Well, why didn't they... I guess they just looked at you and were like, they're not part of the Rainbow
We
Tribe.
also like... were like 3 of us were like removed a little bit from them because we were in the water.
Yeah.
And then Emily just bounced over to us and we just got out of there.
Damn.
But we looked very different from the Rainbow Tribe. We were like
Yeah.
a bunch of college students, you know, like jeans and t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah,
The Rainbow
okay.
Tribe looked like what you imagined the Rainbow Tribe would look like.
Why do you want to beat on the Rainbow Tribe, though?
I know,
It's like
but they
beating
looked
up
like
a grandma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They looked like the like old Burning Man, you know.
Oh, that's so sad. Poor Rainbow Tribe. I wonder where they are now.
Probably still on that beach somewhere. Probably dead in prison.
Yeah, they got beat up and then they just went right back. Dude, that's fucking crazy. There was no drugs or anything involved in that whole story.
No, that's what
so
I'm
your
saying.
friend Emily just makes friendship bracelets.
No, Sarah. Yeah, it was just
Or
making
Sarah.
friendship bracelets.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I assumed that was like she was on shrooms or something.
No,
She's
no,
like, this is
no.
all part of the plan.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna make you one too. To the police, they're like, you need to get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here. Dude, that's so fucking funny. How was David?
David was great. I mean, it was scary.
Was he
when we
crying?
got- No, but he was. I think he had gone catatonic.
Yeah, I cried when I got arrested.
Yeah. Where did you get arrested?
In Utah.
In Utah?
Yeah, I cried big time.
Oh yeah, I would too.
Yeah. I was so upset, and then I got brought in, and I had to stop. I obviously stopped crying in jail because I was like, I don't want to die if
Yeah.
I'm going to be here. Yeah, dude, that's crazy. How old were you? Like 22?
That story?
Yeah.
That was 19.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude. It's interesting how you can't even go close to the border now, really.
Yeah.
Like without, you know.
I mean, it's like a whole. I mean, you can still get over there pretty easily, but it's not.
I don't know if you'd want to.
Yeah.
It's pretty sketchy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure it was sketchy back then, too.
We didn't know the difference.
Right. Yeah. Did you start drinking when you were younger too?
Yeah, freshman year of high school.
Oh, okay.
I remember when I was in 8th grade, my sister gave me a shot of Everclear at a party in front of her friends because they thought it would be funny, and it was. They laughed a lot.
Sure.
It hurt
You
me
didn't.
very
Yeah.
much. Yeah, I was like, this is terrible.
You can go blind from that shit.
Yeah,
Apparently.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm night blind now because of it.
You are?
No. That'd
Wow.
be crazy if my sister made me night blind when I was in 8th grade.
Night
I
blind.
experienced night blindness due to the Everclear. You don't have memories formation due to the drugs.
What?
That's what you know.
I thought you were saying that about. Yeah. No, I really don't. I fucking. I was trying to think of something the other day. Like I can memorize my jokes if I really focus on them.
Yeah.
But like typically, for the first like, I don't know, 10 times running them, I have to have my phone.
You don't think
right
that could partially just be getting a little bit older? I mean, like, I'm sure
it could be that too.
I'm sure you did some damage to your brain. I just wonder what drugs. I have to. I
take an SSRI too.
Yeah.
So it could be that. It could be a combination of things.
I used to know.
We were also talking about boners. That could be.
Were we talking about boners, or were you just thinking about boners?
We
were talking about boners.
Yeah, because fucking, your dick gets lazy.
Sex just isn't like. I just pass out. I never finish the sentence. I just pass out and die.
Bradley is dead.
What we were talking about is how now that you're in your late 20s, I'm in my early 30s, and it's just like the boner isn't as automatic anymore.
Or enthusiastic.
Yeah.
It's definitely not as it. Like when you get an enthusiastic boner, it's like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's like,
because you're like, there it is.
This is what you can do.
Yes. But then like most of the time, I don't know if you ever heard Patrice O'Neill talking on Opie and Anthony about his dick, and he's like, I gotta punch my dick. Then he's like, it gets up and it's like, fine. Like it's like this. And I know, and the sad part is when he said that, I knew exactly what he meant. Yeah. Like it's just this like half inflated balloon.
Yeah. That's just like, this again?
Yeah, and he's just like, and you kind of have to shove it in.
He's like, I'm aware of the rest of the body. We all talk, and you make me do things more than the rest of them.
Dude, I really want to take testosterone when I'm in my 30s just so I can know what it's like to have raging hard-ons again.
But you'll lose your hair to high T levels.
Really?
That's why I'm losing my hair. High T levels.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I have no idea. But I do. That is a part of it.
You seem like you're testosteroned up, man.
I know. I'm all teed up, baby.
Yeah, you got that.
I'm always fucking ready to go.
You still shoot ropes at least?
What?
Still shoot ropes at least?
Oh, I haven't come in 10 years.
What?
I'm kidding. That's not true.
I got so sad for you.
I know. You looked like you believed that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I don't know. You're very convincing.
Dan, you're an empathetic man. You got really sad for me.
Yeah, I for sure I would have been sad for you. Yeah. What do you think? I'm your best friend in the world.
You are my best friend.
You still shooting ropes?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, dude.
How old do you think I am?
I don't know, dude. Some people can't shoot a fucking, like they'll shoot like kind of like a, you know what I mean? Like it'll just be like,
yeah, no.
That's what you got to look out for.
I'm still producing sperm. Semen.
Cool. You have kids? You got a couple kids?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's the fear.
You would be a good dad.
I would be a great dad.
Yeah.
I worked with kids for years. The fear is the one day I'm at home and I get and there's just like a redheaded kid. Like the problem with me and the reason why I'd never donate sperm is I would know the kid. Like there's like,
for sure you
I
would.
See like a flamboyant redheaded kid walking down the street who's like 6 years old and is like, hello, father. Like there's no way I don't know that kid.
The best would be is if you got famous and you were like, a famous production, whatever, and you worked at a company and some guy came to pitch a screenplay to you.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have this screenplay. And you're like, son? And he's like, Dad.
There's this joke. I mean, it's not a joke, but it's like I lived in Tokyo. So I've lived a weird life. I've done a lot of things.
Tokyo is one of my favorite places.
And I lived in Tokyo and I worked as a journalist for a while, for like a summer. It was like for 4 months. And my family's big joke is that one day there's going to be a knock at the door and there's going to be like a redheaded Japanese boy being like
in King of the Hill.
Like King of the Hill. But like it's like gonna obviously be half me, half Japanese.
Did you see that King of the Hill episode?
No, I didn't. I love King of the Hill.
It's like Japanese Hank.
Oh yeah.
And Hank screams, he's like, "Whoa!" And then his Japanese twin is like, "Whoa!"
Oh no. That's funny.
But that's you, yeah.
That's me.
What is the most regrettable experience you have with substances?
Oof.
Not necessarily. Maybe. How about cringy? Because all of these experiences are very, like they're almost like cinematic.
Yeah, here's a bad one. Here's like a very small bad one.
I'm not saying they're bad. They're fantastic.
No, here's like a small moment that was bad. I drank some Dayquil, and I drank some alcohol. Not at the same time. I just like happened to have a cold on New Year's Eve one year, basically. And I drank the alcohol afterwards, and I went to party on New Year's Eve.
Normal dose of Dayquil.
Normal dose of Dayquil.
Okay.
And there's this girl, it was like sophomore year of college, and I was back home, and it was New Year's Eve, and there's this girl I had a big crush on in high school, and she's like, you want to make out for New Year's Eve? And I was like, yeah. I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah.
But I literally thought you'd never ask. This is fantastic. And we went to make out, and like 2 seconds into making out, I just threw up all over her shoes.
Was it orange?
Yeah, it was Dayquil. And I was like, I am so sorry. And she was like, and we have never talked again.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
God damn. Did you have good luck with women in high school?
I had good luck with women in middle school and the beginning of high school, and then there was a point in time where I thought that nobody found me attractive. Like it got this idea got into my head that I was hideously ugly, and so even though I was very good with women and like by all means popular, like I was president of my class and like captain of the team, like track team and things like that. And I had a ton of female friends, and I just could not imagine any of them seeing me as a sexual thing.
Sure.
And that lasted for years. It took me a long time to shake that.
That's kind of where I am now.
Really?
Yeah.
You're so hot.
It
always feels like I'm trying to fuck Pete.
No, it's I mean, you know what I mean? It's fine.
Yeah.
We could
But no, you are like I remember even when I first started seeing you around comedy, I'd be like, who's this hot guy trying to do comedy? And I remember I pulled you aside before I even knew you. You were doing a bit about being unattractive. I'm like, you can't do that. You're too hot. Like
and I
like it's gonna come off as mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like because you're like you have a good face and a good body. Like you're a very cute man, and the fact that you don't know it makes it appealing.
Well, that's nice
to people.
Yeah. No, I'm trapped in a weird bubble of just, you know, I'm good at talking to women. I'm exactly like that. I am great at talking to women.
Yeah.
But I don't like know how to. Like I do, but like it's I never see it that way.
Yeah, you'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, one would hope, but also it's like I'm good at talking to women because I have a mom and a sister who I'm close to. I also I've always had a ton of female friends.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like some of these dudes are very incel-y, and it's like a nightmare. It's like just what do you mean? Like it's such a huge red flag when a dude has no female friends.
Yeah. Or like any guy. This is going to sound really, really like, I hate the word cuck. It's going to sound real cuck.
Yeah.
But like a dude who I mean, like if you're out dating and like, but like the way a dude talks about having sex,
yeah,
it's immediately like, oh, I don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if a guy is like talking about like always, he's like, oh yeah, I just fucked this chick last night, and then you see him with that girl,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, you're a horrible person.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
That dude who I went to Vegas with talked about he had this girlfriend. She was so nice, and he talked about her openly at a party, fucking her in the ass.
Oh.
And he was like, and it smelled so bad, but it was hot. And it was like, she's right there.
She heard this?
She's 19 years old.
Oh, this is a nightmare.
It was horrible.
You mean Johnny Doorkicks isn't the nicest to women?
No, not
Your
even
friend
a little
who
bit.
Apparently scaled a building, sands plunger.
He had the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah. I mean, there's you know.
There's a fun way to talk about sex.
There's a fun way to talk about sex. There is. I love talking about sex.
Yeah, for sure. But
I am
like,
a virgin. I've never had sex.
Wow. That's okay, cool. So I think we're gonna Yeah, I've also never had sex.
But there's a fun way to talk. It's like what we were talking about earlier before the podcast. We were talking about there's a fun way to talk shit, and talking shit is good. It's cathartic, and everyone should talk shit. And there's a bad way to talk shit.
You feel dirty after.
Where you feel dirty and like you're actually being destructive.
Yes, it's the same with sex. Like when you can tell a guy has respect for a woman, the way he talks about it.
We're changing the name of this podcast to the Cuck Boys.
Yeah,
little Cuck Boys.
But also, it's a girl who thinks that that's the way to talk about sex.
Yeah,
there's nothing more off-putting than that
gross.
either. It's the same thing.
Sex is supposed to be fun.
Yes,
absolutely. It's like there's so many power dynamics that go. We're the little Cuck Boys.
Hey guys, we're the Cuck Boys.
Hey guys, we're the little Cuck Boys.
We just want to say, women, you can do whatever you want, and we love you no matter what. Men, fuck you. Yeah. What's the worst sexual experience you've ever had?
Oh, I mean, so many bad ones.
Yeah.
So many true.
When'd you lose your virginity?
Late. I lost my virginity late.
Oh, okay.
I was 21.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So I had like my first experience. It's so funny because I had a lot of my firsts in middle school. And then like high school got weird because I just like couldn't see it that way.
Did you do drama or anything?
No, I did sports and.
Were you always a writer?
Government and stuff. Yeah, I was always a writer.
I was gonna say it's surprising you didn't do drama. You've got such a stage thing. But you
I'm very
were.
flamboyant. Yeah.
No, you're. I mean, it's surprising you didn't do drama. What with your?
I did a little bit.
You
I was
did the
I was a
fucking-
little kid actor. I did commercials and stuff as a little kid.
Wow.
More Ovaltine, please. That was me. I did that.
God damn. There
Yeah, I
you
was the
go,
Ovaltine
dude.
boy.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up. I think you
There's
might
a
be
lot of
right.
Ovaltine boys. They made a lot of commercials.
I don't know if you guys can. Fact
I
check
wasn't
that
the
one.
Ovaltine boy. I was an Ovaltine
An
boy.
Ovaltine boy.
I was
like,
an Ovaltine boy.
You're like the Midwest quadrant.
Yeah, exactly. I was
from
one of their boys.
from 12 to 11.
Listen, Mr. Ovaltine has a lot of boys.
Okay, fair.
I was one of them.
Would you?
Did you know that the Baja Men they're like 40 of them, and there's also like a bunch of Baja boys who like dance in front of the Baja Men at Baja Men concerts, and when the boys get
No.
too old, the Baja Men cut them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know the Baja Men were still touring.
I don't know if they are, but might be some old news I'm talking about. But I found this. Someone told me this is a party, and I choose to believe it. I think it's unbelievable.
I'm gonna clickbait this and be like, Brad Silnutzer hates the Baja Men.
No, I'm all for this. I think this is a very fun system.
What is that song about? Who Let the Dogs Out? It's about there's some meaning to it, some deep meaning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Somebody brought it up on stage, and I was like, I guess that makes sense.
Girls in the club.
It what?
It's Who Let the Ugly Girls Into the
That's
Club.
what it is. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
so mean.
Yeah, exactly. And like the dudes aren't prizes. Back to Cuck Boys. But okay, so you lost your virginity. Like, was it a good experience with the first one?
This is gonna feel like a movie thing again.
That's fine.
Okay.
Dude, it's just because it's cinematic doesn't mean it's bad.
This
As long
one's-
as you're telling the truth.
This one's also cinematic. I went home with a girl from a party, and we went to my place. One of the reasons I lost it late is I had a girlfriend for a while who was also a virgin, wasn't like ready to have sex, and so we
she just kept blue balling you.
no, we would do other things. I also wasn't coming back then.
Okay,
Had the ability. I had lost the ability.
It's been
and,
years.
yeah, it was I pissed off an elder woman who actually turned out to be a witch, and she cursed me.
Oh God, that would be the worst curse. You will never come again. She's Romanian for some reason.
Anyway, so this girl and I leave the party. We go back to my house where I live with a bunch of my friends, and my ex-girlfriend is there hanging out with my friends. So I was like, we can't be here. So we leave the house, and I'm like, oh, I guess we're not going to hook up. That's totally fine. Haven't done it before anyway. And we go to a little, she's like, let's go to this like green, like this green pasture on campus. I was like, there's no green. There's like not a lot of green space at USC.
Yeah.
So we go to this little grassy knoll that she's talking about, and it is about the size of this room, which is not very big.
Yeah.
And it's on the corner of campus, and you could see like we're lying on this grassy knoll, and you can see there's like a gas station right there, and like over there is like a public park. But it's like 3 a.m. and we're lying there, and I close my eyes. I'm like, I guess nothing's gonna happen. But this was still a wonderful night. I made a nice new friend, and next thing I know, she's on top of me, and we're making out. And the next thing I know after that, clothes are flying off. I'm like, what is happening? And I'm like, we're just like outside, like, and then next thing I know is like we're completely naked, and I am, and then she's taking me and putting me inside of her, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm having sex now, and also it's my first time, and so I'm like not trying to have sex without a condom.
Yeah.
So she takes me and puts me inside of her. I take myself and I take it out, and then she puts it in, then I take it out. I'm like, this is basically sex, just done very differently.
Yeah.
And we're doing that, and we're rolling around, and like at one point in time, I look up at the park and I see a dude walking his dog, and the only way this could have been funnier would be if he had like a lollipop because he was staring at us like he had a lollipop that fell out of his mouth. It was like just like mouth agape. The dog's mouth is agape. They're just watching, like people are pumping gas, but like the gas thing's not in the car. It's just like spilling out on the ground. Like we have really stopped this intersection. And so
People could actually.
yeah, people actually saw us, and
wow.
She's like, hey, I need some water. I'll be right back. And she gets up and she starts naked running through campus looking for water. I was like, if she can run through campus looking for water, I can close my eyes. And so, I mean, I can stand up. And so I stand up, I lean against the tree. I'm butt naked. It feels nice. There's a little breeze. And like the same thing happened in the beach. On the beach, I closed my eyes. I could tell the light had changed. I opened my eyes, and there's a police car right there.
No.
And the police car, but there's a fence around USC, right? And the police car's on the other side of the fence. He's like, wait right there, wait right there. I was like, I'm clearly not going to wait right
Yeah,
here.
absolutely
And I just
not.
start running. And so I start running, and I dive behind a bush, and I'm hiding behind a bush. And then she's running. I see her running back towards where we were. I was like, psst, 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 come here. And she jumps in the bush, and she's like, what are we doing here? And she had my voice, too. So the sex room was like, yeah.
It's actually-
yeah.
It's,
You don't know who
it's
it
just
is.
your father in a wig.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Anyway. So we're waiting in this bush, and I was like, listen, I got to go get our clothes. And so I go back around to get the clothes, and the cop car is still there. Cop is nowhere to be found, but it's like parked there with the lights on. I grab our clothes and our stuff. I run back to her. We put on the clothes, and then we go on our merry way.
God damn. So that was, I mean, you didn't finish, but it was still.
Yeah, well, we then tried to hook up in the back of my car, and I also didn't finish, but it was a little more traditional sex.
It's kind of like the first couple of times are kind of like your first times doing stand up.
Yeah.
Where like you could kill it the first time, like in your head at least, and you're like, I fucking didn't come. And then the second few times you're like, and then you're like, I don't know what happened. People booed for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people have a very, I think dudes are brought up with this idea that you're like have to, like in sex, you're just like, I gotta be good. Like there's like this performance, like you're very results based. But I'm just like, with me for some reason, even at the beginning, I was like, I'm just happy to be here.
Dude, I'm obsessed with being good.
Oh, really? Still?
Oh my God, yeah. Like
I'm like, there's no way I'm better than these good dudes who are good at fucking. Like I'm just like, it's like with some people, it's like they're the best at sex. With me, I'm like, I'm the most fun.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think that's just as important.
Yeah.
Because like if a girl, I think that's what's more memorable, man, is like if you have a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like there's so many times, like not so many, I'm not going to make it sound like I've fucked a bunch. But there are times when I've had sex and it's just not anything.
Yeah.
Like
no, and that's truly bizarre.
Yes. And like I had sex with a girl, I was 21, 22. I'd just gotten into hair school, and
You went to hair school?
I did, yeah. Does that surprise you at all?
No, but
yeah, I did because I just wanted to finish something.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I was like,
that's the saddest thing.
right. I did 6 years of college.
Yeah, yeah.
And at that time, I think it was 5.
Were you into drugs and alcohol then? Is that why you didn't finish college?
Yeah, big time. And so I just because my first 2 years I wasn't drinking or doing drugs, and I was on the dean's list. So I did great. And
well, you're clearly an intelligent person.
I appreciate that. I was just never an academic.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you seem like you're very like. You would be great in school.
I was very good in school. Yeah.
So
until I wasn't. I lost interest by the time I got
I think
to college,
that's what it was. Yeah. Did you graduate college though?
Yeah.
What did you get a degree in?
I just got a degree in communications and journalism. But
okay.
It was I did it because it was
cool. You did journalism.
I did
though.
2.5 years. Like I had so many AP credits I could graduate very quickly.
Dope.
And so, but I wish I would have done it so differently. Really, I should have taken a couple years off before college, and I really would have used it well.
I think I would have done the same thing.
I have a lot of regrets. I think that's partially why I became an educator for a while. Is I had so many regrets about how I had used my education that I wanted. This is the dumbest conversation to have on a Blackout podcast.
I don't think so, because the reason I think part of the reason I became such a fucking crazy drugged out individual is I didn't have enough people who cared about my education as a kid. I mean, like I can count maybe 2 teachers who I remember from my entire education.
Well, our education system is like an interesting mirror of capitalism in my head because it's so results-based, but it's not process-based.
Yeah.
Right? So much of our education system is built around this idea of what you end up with, an A, a B, a C, a subjective grade that you get at the end of the whole thing. But it's not process-based. So I was very good at achieving A's.
Yeah.
Right? And I think, but if that's all you focus on, you don't actually worry about A, the acquisition of knowledge, and B, the gaining of skills that allow you to get knowledge later. You just care about that grade at the end, which is like with like a company like, let's say, an Enron scandal or something like that. All they cared about was their bottom line. They'll do anything to get there, including some shady shit.
It's kind of the same. I mean, like you could bring it back to comedy too.
Yeah.
Because it's the same with people. People really don't pay attention to the content of their comedy. They don't pay attention to the process. They just go, I'm here now and I want to be fucking, Kevin Hart.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, you gotta pay attention.
But that's why we have so many, like, I think our education system is like why we have so many people who like don't fucking know how to like read the world at all. Like they're not critical thinkers.
Yeah, not even a little bit.
Yeah, even people who did well in school sometimes because it's so results based and getting good on tests and not becoming like a good, interesting thinker.
I knew a girl who went to Harvard, and she is one of the worst people I've ever met in my entire life.
Well, that's the other thing. There's no morality.
No, well, just so dumb and fucking mean.
Yeah.
And just not an interesting human at all.
Yeah.
And like all of the people that I know who were like the best students mixed with being the best people, they all got rejected from Ivy Leagues.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, how did this, what?
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I rejected that type of stuff. Like I got into multiple top 10 schools when I was applying to colleges.
Yeah.
I went to USC, which wasn't a top 10 school. But I got into a lot of the top 10 schools, and I always just found it was like felt a little. I probably would have gotten a better classical education at those places for sure. But it always felt like once again, their idea of success was this one very specific thing.
Yeah.
And
did you have an idea of what you wanted to do?
I knew something entertainment-y, and then I got into like the non-profit-y stuff and the education stuff, which took me off the entertainment route, and I came back to it later.
That's cool. You think you're ever going to go back to education?
I hope so. If I ever get successful in comedy in like a real way, I will. Oh, thank you. But if I ever get successful in a real way, like part of my master plan is to like have a nonprofit educational branch of what I do.
Yeah.
Education and like education access and equity is like my main thing, and then hunger and homelessness is the second one.
Yeah.
Especially amongst kids. Like I don't think most people realize how like a lot of people talk about privilege and things like that, and like I'm obviously all for learning about that, but I think a lot of people don't realize how close a lot of people, good people, smart people, hardworking people are to just like having their whole lives fall apart by one mistake, you know?
Yeah. That's interesting.
By making one mistake. I could have made a million mistakes. I remember one time, it's not for this podcast probably. Actually, you know, it involves drugs. One time
Perfect.
I was
we got
working.
5 minutes. I was going to ask you if you had one last thing. This could be the last thing.
Okay, and you can cut this out if you want to.
No.
But this is about education and equity and equity. I was working. So when I worked at the boarding school, I was the guy who, like, I was the service learning guy. I ran, like, we worked with a bunch of community partners, blah, blah, blah. God, how do I make this sexier? Anyway, there's a point in time where there was a senior at our school who got busted for weed, and there was a senior at a school that I volunteered in with my students every week who got busted for weed, right? One of them, the one that was at the school where I was working, got a slap on the wrist and wasn't allowed to go to prom. The other one went to jail. They were the same age. They had done the same thing. They just grew up in different types of neighborhoods and had different... One, their whole life was ruined. The other had a bad weekend. And, like, that's kind of, like, the type of shit, you know? And it's like...
Yeah. Did you listen to Serial?
Yeah, I love Serial.
It's a great podcast, man. That whole... when
It'd be funny if you're like, do you like Serial?
Do you like Serial? When they go through the whole Baltimore justice system?
Yeah.
It's fucking outrageous. It's super crazy.
Yeah, it's a real nightmare out there. But I do think that there's, like, a lot of power in like people who from other fields like use like wielding a little bit of their either money or influence to do good shit.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think there's a lot of good shit happening, and it's masked by a lot of the bad shit.
There's so much bad shit and so much good shit.
It's a lot of misery porn. People love to pump the misery porn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You told me one more thing in the lobby about I believe hookers throwing shoes at you.
Oh yeah. This was a bad one. This was okay, I love people.
Yes.
Right? And I was almost fluent in Spanish at this time.
That's your new tag is Brad loves people.
Brad loving the people. This is so stupid, but I was walking through the streets of Costa Rica. I think it was Costa Rica. It was on a trip where I'd gone to Guatemala and Costa Rica. And I was by myself. My buddy who I was on the trip with had already gone to bed. And I run into these lovely women on the street who were clearly prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
But they asked me how my night was going. And I asked them how their night was going. And I stopped to practice my Spanish. And so I was like talking Spanish with them. We had like a nice conversation. And they're like, so do you want to, one of them was like, so you want to get out of here and do a thing? I was like, oh no, sorry, I'm not interested in that. And they got so mad at me. They were screaming at me. They're like, give us money. You just wasted like 20 minutes of our time, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. I was just being friendly. And then they started one of them threw their shoe at me. Like, and it was a big shoe. This is a heavy shoe. This is like a big heel. And it hurt real bad. I had a big old bruise on my leg. And then the other one threw her shoe at me. And then another one starts chasing me. And I remember I was running down the street as fast as I could. And like my buddy's in the hostel. I'm just like running by, like yelling his name. He like looks out. I'm just like running down the street. All these prostitutes are chasing me. But I didn't want to go back to where I was staying because I didn't want them to be able to send somebody after me.
Yeah.
So I just it was like Benny Hill, me running. That
would be funny.
Like
funny
a group of prostitutes chasing me because I thought we were connected.
Yeah, that'd be funny if it was Benny Hill on like a finger pluck guitar.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Dude,
yeah, it was bad. But that's how I get into a lot of these situations. I think a lot of people get into bad situations because of drugs and alcohol, like making them dumber. And me, I'm just dumb.
I don't know is it like a doe-eyed thing?
No, I just think it's like I'm curious what's gonna happen.
So you're just like, ooh, this seems like an interesting situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. I I studied abroad in Argentina, and I got into a couple of those dicey fucking situations too. I had a very large transgender woman grab me by the arm and then start telling me she wanted money, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, it was just outside of the shop I normally went to.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was very scary.
Yeah, that's scary.
There was a big a brothel, like a trans brothel.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call them there, but they would call them telos. It's like where you rent out time to go fuck.
Oh,
And
like like a hotel where you would. I mean, it's a brothel.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so you do it for an hour. But you could if you wanted to hook up with somebody like from the club, you could also just go get one of these hotels for an hour.
They have hotels like that in Japan. They're called Labu Labu hotels, like love.
Oh, of course they
Labu
are.
Labu hotels, and they're like very heavily themed. They're not for prostitutes.
That's what it.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
that's
sure
what it
some
was.
people use it for prostitutes, but you can rent it by the hour. And there's like wild ones that are like, they're just like very decked out.
Did you go to one?
No, I didn't.
Did you hook up with a Japanese girl?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
Oh man. Yeah.
I was too young. I didn't know how. Also, there was like the part of town where were like the Japanese girls who wanted to hook up with like Americans.
Roppongi?
Roppongi, yeah. And so I lived near Roppongi, and I would go there sometimes, but I was like, I'm only here for a few months. I want to like do the actual Japanese stuff.
Yeah.
And like hang out like not where all the gaijin
That's
were.
what I did when I was there.
And so I just like went around and had like a ton of fun experiences.
Yeah, I just walked.
Yeah.
I would just walk. People were incredible. They were super nice and friendly. Girls didn't pay attention to me.
Yeah, I know that it's not like in China. I hear like that. Like my buddies who have studied there and gone there and worked there say it's a little bit more like, ooh, the American guy. Let's try to like hook up with this guy. There it was like just like all friendship.
I kind of liked that. I liked that it was just people were just nobody stares. Nobody wants to fucking be an asshole.
The only time people would stare at me was when I would go to the onsen.
Oh yeah.
And they would look at my dick, and I always remember because the onsen are like the spas.
It's like a
there.
bathhouse,
like
yeah.
the bathhouse. I go to the Korean spa here all the time, which is nude.
I've never been to one.
Oh really?
Yeah.
But anyway, at the onsen, they would all look at. I could see them like politely staring at my dick, and I swear to God, every time I was there, at least one dude would be like, "Yes," because they would just be like, they were either checking it off their bucket list, or it would be them realizing like, "Oh, American dick's not that big."
Not that. Yeah. That's whatever, dude. I bet you got a piece.
Yeah, it's
Fuck
fine.
them. Fuck them. You know what I mean? Not all Japanese people. Just the one who attend onsens and judge your dick.
And judge my dick.
Yeah. I did have old people really hate me for my tattoos, though. I had one person just like go off on me.
Oh really?
And I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't speak
Yeah,
Japanese.
yeah.
Okay, bye. But on that note, Brad, thank you so much for coming.
Pete, you're
in.
a gem. This guy's a gem.
You're a gem.
You're a good guy.
I hope we hang out and.
Oh no, I will never see you again.
Yeah, and you're welcome on my show anytime.
Oh, thank you.
To do drop-ins, and I will gladly throw you $10 for 5 minutes or whatever you want to do.
Oh well, no, you don't have to pay me any money.
I would love to pay you money.
I just want to spend time with you.
You just, I mean, if you answered my phone calls.
Anyway,
Follow Brad Lives Dreams on Instagram. Do you have a Twitter or anything?
it's the same thing. I don't really use Twitter that much, though.
Cool. Do you have any more scheduled for your Fast and the Furious?
Yeah, the Fast and the Furious, a musical parody, a Dynasty typewriter. The next one's November 8th, and there's one in December after that. Also, very soon, my show, Brouhaha, the comedy show Drinking Game, will be making its glorious return to Los Angeles, California.
Da, da, da. You guys, you heard it. Thank you for listening, and thank you for sending emails and all that shit. Just message me, and if I hear a cool one, I'll mention it on the podcast. I haven't heard a cool one yet. You've just been really nice. That's about it. Brad, thank you again.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
Bye.